Hey, everybody. Good to see you. So thankful you are joining us. I am Mr. Stephen Boster, along with Mr. Dr. Matt
We
Tanner.
always put the Mr. first, but it's true.
Hey, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us. This is week 4. This is the last week of our Building Resilience in Ministry, our free webinar series, specifically about strategies for self-care and avoiding burnout. This is kind of our little resilient pastor series of things that we're doing. And I'm so thankful. I'm very excited about this week because this is my favorite week of the 4 weeks that we've done. The information here has proved very beneficial to a lot of people that I have interacted with. And so I'm just very excited about sharing with you because I know this is like the creme de la creme of this webinar series. Their biggest takeaways.
Building to this moment.
It has. We've been dripping some good takeaways through the whole thing, and now we're hitting the meat.
Now it's all going to make sense.
Hopefully. We may try to be better communicators in our lives, but sometimes,
we're just having fun. All right. We're just letting you in on the conversation.
Right. All right. So this is going to be action packed. So we may move a little quickly as we go through this, but we just want to make sure we get you the information. So I also just make you guys aware that we will be putting this out on our website as an additional free course. So if you miss something or you want to see them all together, yes, it's going to be on our Facebook pages, our LinkedIn, our YouTube channels, Twitch, and even Twitter. Or X, excuse me. It's taken me a while. Anyway, they're there, but we're going to put them all in one spot for you, and so you can get access to these as well. So that's going to happen over the weekend. Anyway, now with that being said, as we talk about this whole big issue of self-care and burnout, it's a big issue today. We talked about that in the first week. If you remember, we talked about the crisis that pastors are facing, but not talking about. It's really the issue of burnout amongst pastors, and even the extent of where pastors are there. Our stats show that 10% were contemplating suicide. Week 2 was giving yourself permission to be human as a pastor. If you remember, we had the three rocks of what we're talking about and about giving yourself permissions. Last week, we talked about embracing emotional authenticity. And this week, it's all about how to manage energy, how to refuel yourself based upon how you interact and view the world. Now, again, Servants by Design, we create communication personality-specific resources to help you live a healthier, more connected, spirit-filled life with yourself, with God, and with others. In other words, the goal is, how is it that you perceive, how do you connect with the world? What is God's design in your life? And then how can you best use that to help you live a healthier, more spirit-filled life? Wounded Leadership, Matt, this is where you take over. Dr. Tanner, Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor, sir. Yeah, Wounded Leadership are there to help those who have been wounded find healing. Leadership can be difficult. Leadership can be lonely. And we are here to help anybody in any facet of leadership, whether it be church leadership, business leadership, leadership in the home. If you have some wounding or just some needing of healing, we have resources, counseling, all kinds of stuff. Check us out, woundedleadership.com.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, everybody, before I forget, I do have the ta-da. There you go. Woundedleadership.com.
Yeah, check us out. Go to the website. You can find out all about us. I know we got a lot to cover, but the reality is everybody is in some form of leadership, and leadership is a battle. So if you've been wounded, check us out.
Yep. Also, everybody, this is also being sponsored by simplifychurch.com. Simplify Church, our goal yes, I work there as well. I help them there. The cool thing is we make managing church finances simple. We do bookkeeping and financial support for small and growing churches. We have a lot of church plants that we help out who are just getting started and get them on the right path financially. But the whole goal is to kind of help alleviate the admin side of ministry so there's more time to do ministry. And love it. I've been able to help just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of churches. So we have approximately over 220 churches nationwide that we help at this time. All right. Well, with that being said, let us continue on. I'm Stephen Boster, once again, managing owner of Servants by Design, also with Simplified Church as their operations manager, helping them. And this we've already talked about before, so I'm going to go to Matt. Anything you want to share about who you are?
Now, we've talked about it. Go back and look at some of the other previous videos, and this is me. So,
Right
been
on.
doing this for almost over 25 years.
Yeah. And I also want to tell everybody we have a pastor's resiliency webinar series. This is a paid webinar series that we're doing, and it's from the wonderful comfort of your own home or office. If you are at your office at 6 p.m., you probably need to go home. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. We're doing a 4-night event. And here's the thing. When you sign up, you go to woundedleadership.com and just hit events. And what's great about it is we are going to be live.
Yep.
Having discussions, talking about what it means what's that pastoral resiliency mean. But here's what you get. You get your own personality communication profile tailored to you. And that profile comes with a personal plan, action plan, a professional action plan, and a spiritual renovation plan to help you. Not only that, you will come away with just incredible insights on who you are. We have done approximately, in just the last several years, since 2015, almost 40,000 people have participated in the Servants by Design profiles. And so I'm pretty excited about just the difference that I'm seeing it making people's lives and want to share that with others. So April 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th, if you can't make that session, that's okay. We're recording it. And you're going to have access to a course specifically because it's a paid course that you're paying for. So if you miss a session, you can go back and see it and review it. And so we're pretty excited about that as well. And anything else, Matt, that I'm missing about the resiliency webinar?
Yeah, just want everybody, as you're listening to this, share with your friends, share with those that you know that would benefit from this, but sign up soon with us. If you have any trouble with the sign up, just email me at woundedpastor@gmail.com. But we also have a few more scholarships. We've had some generous donors put some scholarship money in to help pastors. We've got a few half price scholarships. So you get all 4 sessions for $50. Email thewoundedpastor@gmail.com if you would like to take advantage of that. We still have some available. Call us, get a hold of us, and sign up soon.
Excellent. There you go. So, lots happening, lots going on. So here we go, everybody. We're getting knee deep in the material now. Real quick, IP notice, intellectual property notice. All PCM, process communication model content, is the intellectual property of Kaler Communications Incorporated and Servants by Design. We make no claims of ownership of the IP, but Servants by Design is the exclusive worldwide spiritual application of PCM. Parts of this webinar are specifically copyright of Communicate for Change, doing business as Servants by Design, with portions from Next Element Consulting, which have been used by permission. It is all copyrighted material, so please be careful with this material. Now, 3 pillars of resilience. We have talked about the first week, or actually second week. First week, we talked about the problem. Second week, we talked about self-permissions.
Yep.
Last week, we talked about emotional authenticity. And today, we're going to talk about energy management. What refuels you? What encourages you? What ignites you? What are the questions you need to be asking to help you? And some good takeaways. And so with that, let's roll right in. And what is the difference between being
Right. Hold on, folks. There you are.
Hey, that was weird.
Yeah, somebody doesn't want us talking about this information.
I know. Hey, this is real life, everybody.
I know. All right.
We had
As you
something
were,
last week too.
yeah, as you were saying,
All right, Matt, what is the difference between being drained and being tired, in your opinion?
gosh,
Give me your thoughts.
man, I was trying to think of how to describe this. I think being tired has this fulfillment to it. You've expended yourself, you have expended your energy, you have accomplished something, but you're mentally fed by it. Does that make sense? I mean,
Huh?
it's not mentally deadening. But when you're drained, it's the physical and mental batteries are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can go through a class. I teach a class once a week, how to study the Bible, and it's 3 hours of lecture. And when I get done with it, I am absolutely tired. In fact, the class is in a prison. So this last Wednesday, I went down to the prison, talked for 3 weeks, interacted with the guys. I was tired, but mentally on the drive home, I was physically tired, but mentally I was charged. I was like, man,
Okay.
this was really, really, it fed me as I did this.
Mm-hmm.
Being drained is when both poles of the battery are down at the same time. If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. You understand what I mean by that?
I do. I think the biggest thing is the question is, how are we using our energy?
Yeah.
Is it something that is exhausting us from a point of physical, mental exhaustion, being drained?
Mhm.
Or, man, I really got to do something I'm passionate about. I've worked all day with it and I'm just tired.
Mhm.
Is that the best way to kind of re-explain what you mean?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. I mean, tell me how you differentiate the two.
Being drained for me is just I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm frustrated,
Mhm.
I'm stressed out, that kind of thing.
It has those negative or the negative emotions to it. You
Yes,
become burned out when you're drained, but you don't see burnout when you're tired.
right. Because I have either purpose or passion
Mm,
or how shall I say, productive.
mhm.
It's those kinds of things where, or I'm just having fun, but I'm tired. I've been playing all day, but I'm tired, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Would you say though, if you operate in the tired category for too long, it can lead to being drained if you never recharge your battery?
Yes.
I mean, there's
Great clarification.
one
And
can lead to the other. So, and I
yeah.
think pastors and a lot of leaders are really bad about this. Is even of the good things that they're doing, they become tired, but then they keep pushing, and that's when a lot of times they're hit with something that they have to do that they don't like, and that's where
Mhm.
the switch flips, and all of a sudden they're drained. They're running
Mhm.
low anyway. They don't have that reserve built up.
Mhm. Yes. And so we're gonna use that as a good segue to kind of move into, okay, so what do I need to do to make sure that I'm recharging that battery? And so I wanna walk through the motivational needs. These are also psychological needs that help us. So we're going to talk about. We've already talked about 6 frameworks that are all within us, but some stronger than others. So some of these you'll be able to connect with just right off the bat. Some of you're like, I don't know about that, but that's okay. But we're here to kind of give you some ideas to help you along the way. So one of those is there are those people who are really need recognition of who they are as an individual, or make sure they have a nice, warm, cozy environment. And I'm going to talk more about those here in a little bit. For others, it may be the recognition of the productive work that they've done,
Mm,
or just knowing their time structure and being able to be um, organized
mm,
in their frameworks. Then you have those who just love contact. They love the high fives, the fist bumps, the woohoo, or perceived action at a later time. coming in. Then you have those that are very much, hey, getting recognized for their principled work. In other words, their value, contribution to an organization, to their churches, or just their conviction, being with a group for a long time, just being recognized for that and appreciated for that. Then you also have those who love incidents. Now, incidents is just a fancy term to say a lot of action in a short amount of time. Let's make it happen.
High
Let's
energy.
do this. High energy is a way to put it. Yes. Then you have those who just love solitude, having time alone in order to let their mind's eye just explore the universe in their head, and to process. To have that time to process and think through the permutations of a lot of different things. And they love spending time doing that. And so we're going to go into more details on each one of these as it relates to how do I recharge and how do I refuel. So first up for bids, I want to talk about those who want recognition of person and sensory. We call these individuals specifically, well, I'll get to what they are, but these are the questions that we have to ask. The main question, the most refueling question is, have I nurtured, this is what you ask yourself, have I nurtured relationships that I care about? In recognition of person, this is an individual who really loves teams, really loves for people to get along. And so other questions are similar are, have I taken care of me? Have I taken care of myself and what my needs are? Have I maintained my personal boundaries? This moves into the realm where sometimes if you notice you're letting your boundaries go, you're moving into distress and you're moving into eventual burnout. But the big question on making sure that you're not moving into distress is this: have I asked for what I want? In other words, if you are giving in to other people behind the scenes, that is causing you distress. And that will lead into burnout, because you get to the point where it's like, I'm giving to everybody, but what about me? And I'm just exhausted. I am drained.
Stephen, before we get to the next question, how do we reconcile this with the teaching or this unwritten rule, especially in ministry, of in order to be a servant, you're supposed to always put others first, and you're supposed to do, this servant mentality is we have taken too far, in my opinion. But some of these questions, especially pastors and leaders, they can get with the have I nurtured relationships that I care about. They're going to go, well, I'm shepherding the people and stuff like that. You get question number 2, have I taken care of me? And we're like, well, I'm serving the Lord, so I'm going to put that last.
Yeah. So
how do you reconcile?
Great question. Here's how I approach that. And it's been very helpful. Well, one, we already talked about permission. So there are some aspects of those permissions, but beyond that, let's as some people will say, they Jesus juke it. Here's the thing. When they came to Jesus and they asked him, what's the greatest commandment? It's like, love the Lord your God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then without skipping a beat, he says the second is just like it. He says, love your neighbor. We all hear that. Love your neighbor, because then he moves into the Good Samaritan story. But we miss the little phrase at the end. Love your neighbor as yourself. And when I do coaching and working with either couples, families, or ministry leaders, I tell them, you can't help people unless you have energized or refueled yourself or taken care of yourself. That takes back, if you want to use another analogy, go back to the 5 love languages. Remember, it's the whole love bucket.
Oh yeah.
Is got to fill the bucket in the relationship for the other person. But when you love your neighbor as yourself, there is the propensity to say, hey, I do need to love myself. I do need to take care of myself. And this is where I usually get into the discussion of what's the difference. And we talked about this in permissions. What's the difference between self-full and selfish? And there is the sense of, hey, I'm taking care of myself. I'm filling my bucket so that I can give towards others. But if my bucket is empty, what I'm doing is, in this situation with this individual, is they'll sacrifice themselves because they think that's what I need to do. I'm supposed to sacrifice. Well, yes, yet you have to make sure you take care of yourself to take care of others.
Yeah.
And there's a balance at play there. Now, if
Mm.
your bucket is full, it's time to be given towards others. It's
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's the difference between marathon and sprint. I mean, when you're in a sprint,
okay.
you're going all out and you're using every bit of energy, but it's a short period of time, and
Mhm.
then you're done. But we all know this is more like a marathon. And like when I do long distance cycling, just as important as riding the bike and going the distance is, am I taking the right water? Am I taking
Mm.
with me? Because
Mhm.
they call it hitting the wall right in the middle of a ride where you run out of all your resources. So you have to take the long view in mind. It's okay to take care of yourself. You will actually be able to give more if you take care of yourself.
I love that picture. Love that. Well, let me continue on. So then, let me give the practical advice. So you're
Yeah.
asking yourself these questions, and so we call these individuals harmonizers. They're very compassionate, sensitive, warm individuals. And so here's some practical takeaways. Everybody, is this survival tips to help you. It's okay to set aside time for nurturing you.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how important it is to have those permissions. It is okay to take care of you, because what's the purpose? I'm refueling
Mhm.
so that I can give into others.
Absolutely.
It's okay to say no to others and yes to you. This is big for harmonizers, having that
Yeah.
permission to say no, because it's like, and this is where some people say, well, you're just a people pleaser or whatever. Well, that doesn't help accusing them. Just saying, no,
Yeah.
it's okay to say no,
Mm.
because you have to take care of you. It's kind of like the whole thing we've always heard about the airplane.
Oh yeah.
The masks come down, put yours on first.
Put yours on first. Breathe. Here's the thing about that. They always said breathe normally. I'm sorry. If that mask comes down and I have to put it on, there is no way anybody in that plane's breathing normally.
Right.
Moving on.
Uh, Next is initiate connection if you are lonely. These individuals love to be in groups and
Yeah.
teams and working with others. And if you do feel lonely, please reach out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Chances are the person you're reaching out to is going to be feeling lonely as
I
well.
mean, how many of us are staring at the phone when we're at this point going, I really wish somebody would call?
Yeah.
Well, you pick up the call and
Yeah.
call somebody.
Yeah. That's my brother and I. We laugh. We're terrible at calling each other, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Next is it's okay to feel angry. One of the things that harmonizers really struggle with is it okay to be angry? Yes. It's okay to feel angry, because for harmonizers, your anger is really built about taking care of yourself. It's almost a, a righteous anger, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. That's probably not the best term. But your anger is coming from a good place. You're frustrated. You're tired, and so, but it's how you live out that anger is important. So
Yeah.
if you feel angry, that's an authentic emotion. Remember, we talked about authentic
Yeah.
emotions last week. It's an
Yeah. Lean
authentic
into it.
emotion. Lean into it. How do you use that anger, kind of
Yeah.
a thing, and use it in a positive way, not to
Absolutely.
take care of or pull someone else down. All right, let's go to the next one real quick. Now, these are individuals. I want to talk about the questions that these individuals ask, the people who want recognition of productive work and time structure. The questions they ask, the biggest question is, have I used my time productively?
Mm.
Um, there is a lot of space on YouTube and lots of books about what it means to be productive.
Mhm.
Personal knowledge systems, management systems, and all these things of how do I journal, or how do I make the best use of my time? Do I use my calendar or a to-do list? And those are all valid questions about understanding. Those work great for individuals who are trying to use their time productively. Now, the questions you really have to ask yourself is, have I accomplished the important things?
Mm.
This is where you move into the realm of big rocks versus little rocks, or letting go of good things.
Agreed.
I'll be open with you, everybody. I live this every day. For me personally, there's a lot of things I'm involved in.
Yeah.
But if I really want to do some of these things really well, is what do I let go of?
Absolutely.
And they're not. It'd be easy if it was good and bad stuff, but no. It's all good stuff. So,
Yeah.
and you're going to hurt someone in the process.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to let go of good things for great things, because people in this is like, what if I'm wrong? What if I miss a good thing?
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
there's no guarantee of the great thing. So it's really hard to let go of that good thing
Yeah.
for something that is going to be better.
Yeah, that's well stated. Well stated. Next is asking the question to ourselves: have I learned something useful? At those who want recognition of productive work and time structure, really you'll hear them push about being lifelong learners,
Yeah.
and because they want to learn something to help them be more productive.
Yeah.
And then the question that they ask themselves, that's going to be kind of moving in that warning question of is, have I helped others become more capable? Because sometimes what happens with these individuals, if they start moving into distress, they want to kind of control or take over. I have a wonderful story about that I'll share at a different time, just as we flesh these out more. So now, so these individuals, we call them thinkers. In other words, they're very logical, organized, responsible individuals. And so the survival tips are this: set smaller goals. So you can this is where people will tell you, take a big goal and break it down into small steps so that you can hit each step and then feel a sense of productive accomplishment with that. Set aside time to check in with your teammates. This is important. I'll be open. This is one of the things that I do when I'm with Simplify Church, and I do quarterly check-ins with every single employee to have a discussion. But weekly, I send them an email to see how are you doing. It has proven to be an incredible tool in the grand scheme of things. Next is make contingency plans. This is that all thing about strategic planning. If your time structure gets messed up, make sure you have a contingency plan. Nothing throws me into overdrive, into distress when my organized timed list gets thrown out the window and I have
and don't you love how many times, Stephen, I throw a curveball at you?
I am not commenting at this present point in time.
Because I'm the guy who's like, hey, let's change it. Let's do this. Like, no, it doesn't fit in the next slide.
That's right. I got my slides. Gosh darn it. All right. Also, leave time between appointments. And this is just about time structure, but even within thinkers, that recognition, productive work, and time structure is this: margin. Give yourself margin. These are the individuals who have captured this really well. Will say stuff like, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. Kind of a thing. Because why? Because they have put margin in their schedule. And that's really what that boils down to.
I've counseled with thinkers to make appointments with themselves. And what I mean by that is, it's okay to take an hour of your day and put it in your calendar as an appointment. Everybody else sees it as a meeting, but you're just taking the time to just have that, just debrief halfway through the day or something like that.
Yes. Well done. Next, leverage virtual tools in social settings. So sometimes there are certain tools out there that you can use to connect with people. Therefore, we are here. We're doing a webinar that has some tools within it to help us connect. Then also, it is okay to feel sad. When I lose control, I'm dealing with sad. Or when I try to over control, that's because I'm feeling sad and I don't want to. And so I'm just telling everybody, it's okay to feel sad. Something happens, something changes, or you didn't get to stuff that you were wanting to. It's okay.
Or they choose somebody else's schedule or plan. Right. And not yours.
Very much so. All right, moving on to contact. Those who love contact. The biggest question that you're going to ask yourself is, did you have fun? Did we have fun? You're going to ask other questions like, did I connect with people? just having fun. It's fun connection. This is not like the harmonizer and connecting with others on a heartfelt level. This is, did I connect with people on a fun, engaging level? Did I discover something new and interesting? Love. That whole contact is really engaging in new experiences. Then here is the question that comes up to come to grips with if you're dealing with distress positively. Did I take ownership to solve a problem? Because this is where you'll hear, not my problem.
Yeah, I was going to say they very quickly pass the baton of ownership.
Yeah.
And they would really love a thinker to come along at this point, throw that at them and go, I'm going to go over here and just connect some more.
So for those who are familiar with PCM and stuff, I am phasing this format, and I always want to have fun. You guys have probably picked on it that Matt and I just have a great time together, and it's fun for me. But my phrase is not, when I say not my problem, my phrase is not my problem. My phrase is not my circus.
Yeah.
That's my phrase. I heard someone say the other day, not my rodeo. And I'm like, oh, I like that one too.
Yeah, I usually say not my monkeys, not my circus. I'm moving on.
So we call these folks rebels, and not the rebel with a cause thing, but just rebels, just engaging. They're playful, spontaneous, fun, creative. Survival tips are this: start a hobby, have something fun that you like to do on a regular basis. Now, it's not scheduled. That'd be your thinker. That would have it scheduled. I have my scheduled fun time. No, do not interrupt me. This is my scheduled fun time.
At 1:33 to 2:33, I have fun.
Right. No, your rebel is very spontaneous, spur of the moment. Let's do this. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Rebels learn something new. This is tapping into that creative side of learning new things. Solve a problem. That creativity, tapping into that creativity side of who we are, can really be beneficial and help us deal with distress, because we come to grips with, hey, I did that. That's that taking ownership. I did that.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say just a careful kind of a warning here. I've seen those that are in this category sometimes because they need to solve a problem and for that recharging of their batteries. Sometimes they'll create the problem to solve so they can have the problem to solve.
Well, that is a distress pattern. That's more of a distress pattern of getting their needs met.
So be careful here,
Right. Everyone, just so you guys know, Dr. Chandler is also a certified trainer in Servants by Design. And so I apologize. Sometimes we may use lingo. And if you're interested in learning more about distress patterns and stuff, please check out our website, servantsbydesign.com.
And you're going to understand more of this when you get your profile. So sign up for the webinar, because more of this is going to make sense.
Yeah, I do. I do talk about the distress patterns in the webinar in our section of that. So yes. Other things, survival is move, be engaged, get physical activity, hoops at noon, kind of a thing. Let's go.
I'm going to go for a run.
Yep. Something to be aware of that happens to rebels is addiction to phones, TV, video games. So there is a sense of that creative spontaneity kind of a thing that occurs with that. Those are those dopamine hits that those are designed to hit. So just be aware of those, because those can take you out of the contact with others that actually serve as a better, much more better, playful kind of a thing. And then here's the thing. For rebels, there is a sense of coming to grips with responsibility. And we're telling you it's okay to feel responsible.
Yeah.
It is that taking that ownership. Did I take ownership of that? So, and sometimes saying not my circus is not very helpful. I'm not taking responsibility.
It's not taking responsibility.
And I don't want to.
It is your circus. Now fix it.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay. Continuing on, everybody. This is a great discussion. now we're going to talk about those who want recognition of principled work and their convictions, their values, is a way to say that. So the biggest question they'll ask in order to get this recognition met, or to feel, to kind of combat this whole thing about burnout and dealing with self-care, is this: have I made a positive difference? That's the question they're asking. Now, remember, everybody, all these types are within us, but some are stronger than others.
Yeah.
And so I usually encourage people to connect with that part that's inside them when they meet someone who is very much about values, very much about beliefs, opinions. And other things is, have I advanced my values? That's a positive difference. Am I in company that's making a positive difference? Am I with a church that makes a positive difference? Does this church help me advance my values? And if, as pastors, sometimes we are the ones that are making the positive difference through how God is leading us to, visioneering with the church. What's God's vision? And those values are usually, we're within a denomination or a congregation that we have similar and shared values. Have I acted with integrity is another question, where many of us, yes, I have acted with integrity. You should celebrate that. But then the question that comes to grips with is, if we're starting to move into distress, we have to ask ourselves, have I earned respect without instilling fear? And that's a tough one, because sometimes we like to crusade and preach on things. And I'll be open with you. Sometimes I hear pastors online, I'll hear different sermons, and they are all about this framework. They're all about crusading on a certain point, and where they think they're preaching, they are preaching, but they're not preaching with integrity about making a positive difference. They're preaching out of distress.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
well, and social media has exacerbated that to a degree, because it's so easy to be, I call it in your face anonymity. Because you can hide behind just a profile, and it's so easy to put it out there because you're not face to face with somebody. And in the name of putting your values out there, you're actually doing more damage. So we have to be very careful of that one.
We do. And so these individuals we call persisters. They're very dedicated individuals. They're very conscientious, very observant of the world around them. And so one of the things we want to tell you up front is, beware of those crusades.
Yeah.
Just be careful about how you are preaching, how you are communicating, that you're not trying to browbeat someone. The other thing is, practice optimism and gratitude. I have another webinar coming up that I'm doing with a friend who is very much very good about what it means to show gratitude. What is gratitude for us, and what is gratitude for others, and also looking into what does it mean to be gracious towards God as well. Be appreciative of what God has done for us. And so practice those. Invest in legacy work. Now, scrapbooking, or memoirs, or something that is, here's a book of the things I've learned. These are the values, and these are my experiences. That storytelling of your experiences goes a long way.
Be a journaler, write a blog, somewhere to put this stuff down on paper.
Yes. Yeah. And you're like, well, there's all these other blogs out there or whatever. It doesn't matter. God will use
not really
you
necessarily for them.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and God will, whoever needs to hear it will hear it in the time that they need to hear it. Absolutely. I've seen that happen. Seen it happen. Okay. Reevaluate your priorities. It's okay from time to time to be able to sit there and say, okay, what am I doing and why? Is this as important to me today as it was before? Now, persisters have a great opportunity of looking at values long term. This persister part of us can really handle asking this question about reevaluating priorities, because it's not about, oh, well, I just change like a reed in the wind kind of a thing. No, it's very much where I'm just blown about with every new thing coming around.
Yeah.
Now, I do like shiny things. I will say that. Sometimes like, ooh, new tool, shiny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm that way, but maybe that's my thinker part of me, probably.
Yeah. You're just a techie, though.
Yeah, but there is something about value, and what this leads into is this: search for a higher unifying purpose. Now, for us as pastors, this is an incredible moment,
Yeah.
because we already have that for us as
Mhm.
set to us by Christ.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing about it is yes, there's our higher unifying purpose.
Yeah.
But then we ask ourselves, as we visioneer for the churches that God has given us, it really becomes, okay, Lord, our higher purpose is with you.
Yeah.
So what's next? And having those conversations can be real fulfilling and real energizing where we're at today. So having those moments. Now, here's the other part. For persisters, it's okay to feel afraid.
Mm.
Sometimes doing this work, we become afraid. And I hate to say this, but sometimes that crusading that we do is actually indicative that we are fearful inside.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there's something you're afraid about. And I'm telling you, it's okay to feel afraid and come to grips with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move on. Boy, we're just hammering all we're getting through stuff, and we're already 41 minutes in.
Keep firing.
Incidents. Okay, this is a lot of action in a short amount of time. Okay, these individuals, this will be the question this is the main question they'll ask is, have I done something exciting? Have I done something that allows me to experience this excitement in a short amount of time? They'll also ask the questions of this: did I seize opportunity? They're very much in the moment. These are the angels that are like, take the bull by the horns, or when opportunity knocks, you better open that door, or grab on with both hands and don't let go.
Yeah, but I see some of these incident people, if like, like, wait, did you hear something? I think opportunity knocked. I'm going to bust through the door to make sure. It's like, make
Right.
sure it's actually knocking.
Right. Here's a great one. Did I challenge myself? One of the greatest things for these who like incidents is that it's sometimes we call it the throwdown challenge, where you're like, dude, I bet you can't beat what you did last week, kind of a thing, or you're like, then they're like, oh, it's on. Now if they've got that rebel in them, that that little bit of rebel playfulness in them, they're like, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. You'll hear fun phrases like that along with it. So now here's the question that you got to be careful of in terms of moving into a distress pattern. Did I use my special skills to help others rise to the occasion? Because when you're in distress, sometimes you'll be like, fend for yourself, kind of a thing. My brother has they do a food calendar for the week, where they're going to fix for dinner, and on 2 nights of the week it said Finfer, and I'm like, what in the world is Finfer? He's like, fend for yourself.
Yeah. These are the guys that they think they're leading, but it's the age-old adage of, if you're leading and no one is following you, you're just taking a journey. I mean,
yes,
these are the guys that run way far ahead rather than bringing along people with them.
Yeah, there are pastors out there that are very good in the moment. They can do a sermon in the drop of a hat, kind of a thing. They're just gifted that way, and that's great. But we need to be reminded that, wait, I want to help others. Along the way. And so those are the questions. So here's a couple of things for survival tips. We call these individuals promoters. They're very adaptable, very charming, and very persuasive, very influential. And those are all positive traits. We're not looking at those from a negative point of view. So survival tips include rapid deployment and testing of new ideas. This is really the aspect of, hey, what can I how can I take these ideas I have and just make them happen? I mean, let's do this. Let's get down there. And so where where persisters would see like problems coming, what promoters do is they can come up with the solutions right then and there. So they work great hand in hand. Promoters, pastors who are this promoter persister framework can work really well, or even better, guaranteed, if you're a promoter pastor, your executive pastor is probably a persister and or thinker. They see the stuff coming, but you are the one that knows how to make the action happen.
Absolutely.
Along with that, I just want to say that is creating solutions for problems that haven't happened yet. That's what I mean by that. You are able to develop a crisis response product or service or ministry quickly. I'd encourage you to look into those things. You'll find great fulfillment and encouragement and rejuvenation when you do those. You build it and then you train and let others take over. Because promoters are all about what's next. What can we do next? And they're those that God has gifted to come right alongside of you, learn it, take it, and move it forward so that you can continue to be the visioneering person that God's called you to be.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the thing about promoters is if they feel like they're getting too close to someone, they kind of, intimacy, I'm not for sure. I don't know if I want to be this way. This is where sometimes the framework of promoter is they cause themselves to be lonely when they don't need to as a leader. And we're telling you it's okay to feel intimate, to feel close to someone. Kind of a thing. If you create a partnership with another pastor, and sometimes you're like, we're kind of sharing more pastory stuff with what our struggles are. I don't know if I want to do that or not, kind of thing. And I'm telling you, it's okay to do that. Actually, you'll probably be a blessing to them and they'll be a blessing to you. That's why you see pastors networks popping up.
It's okay to be vulnerable as a promoter.
Yes.
It's okay to be vulnerable and put yourself out there.
Yes, very much so. All right. So then last one, everybody, is this concept of solitude. The question is for these individuals, did I take time and space I needed to recharge? This is where you've got your prayer gardens or your prayer closets, or it's just taking a walk somewhere, or going outside and just letting your mind's eye just kind of process and think through all the things that are happening and going on. Did I take time to manage the possibilities? And also, did I make the decisions required for my role? So in other words, there are moments where you've got all this stuff ruminating and you just need someone to give you permission to say, okay, tell me what the solutions are. Tell me what decisions you need to make. I'm saying that you don't have to wait for someone to tell you. But if you do, here's the question you need to ask. Did I ask for direction when I needed it? So that's what I encourage you. So here are the wonderful survival tips is implement structure with external reminders. You're probably thinking, what do I mean by that? So a lot of times imaginers, we call them imaginers, very reflective, imaginative, very calm individuals. But sometimes we have to have external reminders. In other words, a time clock or a schedule or some kind of thing to help me know, hey, it's okay. This is the time I've set aside to process, to think through things. Or you may even have to say, hey, I need to make sure I ask permission or ask someone to, hey, could you, like what we just talked about? Let me tell you, can you give me direction on this? Tell me what you need. I mean, that's really what it boils down to is just tell me what you need.
Because the imaginers will, if they don't set structure for their work, but also for their away time, the imaginers they'll spend their whole day reflecting and never actually be productive.
Yes. Yeah. It's important to get that it's important to get the work done beyond of what you've been asked to do. But sometimes you just have to ask, say, hey, is there anything else? Tell me what else I need to do. Take away Take time away from family and work to do the walks, the drives, the afternoons at the park. We already kind of talked about that. Have that prayer closet, have that prayer garden. Imagine breakthrough solutions. The imaginers are great at this. It's the asking the what ifs.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I want you to tell me, what if in this situation? What if we, tell me the answer to this question. What if we instituted a grieving parent ministry, or a grieving spouse ministry, or, and just let them go. Get back to me at lunch. Take lunchtime. Get back to me after lunch here in about 3 hours, and tell me what you pondered. That's great stuff. All right. Anticipate problems we haven't yet faced. They're also good at, if you give them the what ifs, or, hey, what are the potential problems? Tell me what the potential problems are. And they'll be like, okay. Then once they get it, boy, tell the promoters. But here's the thing. You get promoters and imaginers in the same room. Ooh, because promoters will be like, tell me now, tell me, come on, tell me. And they're like,
what is it I need it now?
I've been thinking, right. You got to give the imaginers the space, the time and space. I love that. Answer is 42. Sorry. So
the imaginer has to be very careful that their what ifs and their anticipation is positive anticipation, not fear-based anticipation.
Well stated. Yes.
The imaginers can very, very quickly become Chicken Littles. The sky is falling, that everything is the negative.
The biggest thing is giving them that space to process. So once they process that, then you as a pastor can have, let the promoters know, hey, need your help with this situation. Just watch it happen. Just seeing people come together and using God's giftings and God's personalities that he's put into people is really just a fascinating thing. So
absolutely.
Last thing here is, as an imaginer, it is okay to feel potent. We talked about this in permissions. It's okay to own your own potency, to be autonomous. And it is really important for imaginers to know that, hey, it's okay. You are capable, kind of thing. All right. Well, we just went through all that stuff. So everybody, I hope this is very beneficial to you. I do want to remind you. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
NASCAR speed.
I know. Like our original illustration from the beginning.
Exactly.
Nice. I see what you did there. We want to remind you of the Pastoral Resiliency webinar. Please go to woundedleadership.com and you'll see the events, and it's right there. We only have it at $100. I guarantee you the value you get from that is well worth every single penny. In fact, there are people who are teaching this in the business realm kind of things, some of these types of things that we're offering just for $100 that are out there that they're charging at least $1,000, if not $1,500 for. And we want to make sure that as pastors, we get it. We've been there, done that, run over the church bus backwards and forwards. And we want to make this accessible to you. I am very thankful for those who have said, you know what, you may have some pastors that need some help financially, and so we want to pay half their fee for them. And so if you need that, just send us an email at thewoundedpastor@gmail.com. Those go directly to Matt. He takes care of those. They are done as a very private thing, so no one else knows what those are. I don't know what those are going to be. That's only him. And so if you need help, that's what we want to make sure that you have that available to. So you can get it for only $50. We still have a few left for those. So
you're going to get the profile. You're going to get all the information. You're going to get a copy of the book, The Wounded Pastor, and access. Even if you can't attend all 4 sessions, you will not miss anything. And we really want some of y'all to sign up, because we're also going to have some great heart-to-heart discussion with Steve Ormer from Hurt to Hope, Matt Davis from Pastoral Transitions, some folks from Simplified
Josh
Church.
Henry from Simplified Church. You will be there.
It's going to be great discussion. And the more we can have come in on this, the greater discussion is going to be, because we will also want to hear from you guys as well.
Yep. Well, everybody, that is the Dilly-oso. So
That's the wrap.
that's a wrap. So we really hope that this has been a blessing to you. I'm telling you, I've seen this change people's lives.
Absolutely.
And as you go through, and if you sign up for the pastoral resiliency webinar, I'm just going to put the woundedleadership.com up there. Please take the opportunity to do that. We are excited about it. Just talking with everybody. It is a webinar format, but there is a chat feature, so you can ask questions and things like that. So
it is going to be interactive as we go through it.
Yes. It's not necessarily like a Zoom where you'll be like, oh, everybody sees each other. We're not doing that. We're doing it specifically as where you can chat and ask questions and things. Now, if you want to have opportunities to talk with us, we are setting those up. You just have to let us know if you want to do that. And so where we can have discussions with you. So very excited about it. Matt, anything else that I may be missing? I don't think so.
No, man. Just everybody, please, if you come across this, share this on your social media. Help us grow this audience, because there is a huge need for pastors and church leaders who needs this information, and we need your help getting this word out.
Yep. So what I'm going to do real quick on all the platforms, I'm going to go www.woundedleadership.com/events will take you specifically to that page.
Excellent.
And so check all that out, go there. And again, it's only $100. If you need the financial help, please send the email to let me go back to the email, the woundedpastor@gmail.com. All right.
Stephen, this has been a blast. This has been good.
It has been good.
More of this in the future.
Yeah. Next week, just so you guys know, very excited about this. Next week, we decided to continue on with some other things, but we are going to be talking with Tiffany Henning, who has been with HR Ministry for many years and is branching out with her own ministry, another ministry called Something's Gotta Give. And it really is about pastoral
I'm jealous of that title.
Yeah, right.
Man, why didn't I think of that? That's like Velcro. Why didn't I think of that?
Right. So that's going to be next week. More information to follow on all of our social media channels and on our websites as well for that opportunity. So really looking for that. Our goal is to help really the pastors as best as we possibly can with our experiences, to encourage you, to motivate you, to resource you as best as we possibly can, so you can spend more time doing the work of ministry and not having to worry about all the superfluous stuff.
We want you thriving and not just surviving.
Right. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thanks again for joining us, Matt. Thank you so much for your time. It's been great to hang out with you. This has been a good 4 weeks, and we're going to continue on, everybody, where we're doing more of these. So it's good stuff. All right. Well, everybody, hey, may God bless you. May he continue to strengthen you and encourage you. And even this weekend being Easter weekend, we pray that God just uses you in a wonderful way, encourages you, and may you see his hand work in your life this weekend.
Absolutely.